Well, I'm delighted on our final episode of this season, our Olivier special, to welcome Billy Porter and Marisha Wallace, both currently appearing in Cabaret at the Kit Kat Club, but with lots and lots of other things going on in their lives. Billy and Marisha, welcome.
Thank
Hello.
you.
How's Cabaret going for both of you?
I love it.
Yeah?
You know, I've always loved Cabaret. I always love when art is resistance. And that's what this show feels like to me. That's what it is to me. And I really love it.
I'm having a blast because it's a dream that I didn't know I had. So I think it's really cool to get a role that you didn't know you were supposed to play. Do you know what I mean? And then when you're playing it and you're doing it, and the response has been just so incredible to, you know, how we've made it our own, to what it means to society right now with what's happening in America, the rise of fascism around the world. And a lot of people are like, oh my God, I didn't know that's what this story was about, because they know the songs. Yeah. And the songs have become, you know, their own entity in themselves. But to see them in the context and to do them in the context has been so incredible, because I feel like I'm doing art and activism at the same time, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
I think I saw an interview with you recently on morning TV, Billy, where you said you'd auditioned for it back in the 90s.
No, I didn't audition.
Sorry, you
right. You tried to get an audition.
They wouldn't audition for it.
Forgive me. Yes.
Yes. Because they said that's not the story we're telling. And I, did some research and found a book called Destined to Witness, Growing Up Black in Nazi Germany. And I sent one to the entire creative team, signed, "We were there, we are always there." And all these years later, that was 1998, 99. And all these years later, this production, this specific moment in time in history is telling a new version of that story. The Nazis didn't like anybody except themselves. So everybody was in that concentration camp who weren't them.
Yes, indeed.
In those concentration camps. So, I love being a part of enlarging territories, expanding, minds, hearts and minds through art. I love it.
I think we're showing that we're not excluding people. We're trying to include more people into this conversation, because I feel like as a Black person and the Black people that I know growing up, like the Holocaust in this time period were not really taught to us as a part of our own history. Yeah. Like it was always felt very separated from us. But I remember when I would look it up, it would say 6 million Jews and then one line that said, "Oh, and Blacks and queers and disabled people." Yeah. But I never knew their stories. Yeah. So this was kind of a way for us to tell the story of people of color in this time, and queer people in this time, who were the bedrock of cabarets in this time period. Like jazz, that music, that's why people were coming, because of these voices and these artists. So it's been really cool to tell that story. Yeah.
Had you felt that Sally was sort of outside your range then before, or not a role you'd be considered for?
Well, just not a role that we've ever been considered for, even like, because to even get an audition was like I had to send in research to say, hey, Black people were there. Josephine Baker did, cabarets in Berlin. Yeah. This is another way we can tell this story. What do you think? This is not to get an offer. This is just to be seen. Yeah. And I think we forget that just to get in the room is difficult, not even to be given anything. So then once you get in the room, you still got to prove yourself and be undeniable at what you're doing. So I think that's what has been so amazing, is to show that not only have we gotten the parts, but we're excelling at telling the story in a way
we deserve them.
That you deserve them. Yeah.
The audacity to say that, right? Yes, we do deserve them.
Yeah.
Even though, I think you're the first Black woman to play Sally in a major commercial production. You're the second Black man to play the MC, aren't you? But right from the start, you did get the feeling that this production by Rebecca Fracknell did have a far greater openness to difference, didn't it? Right from the start. It was a very queer-coded one right from the start. Look at the
research and say, okay, let's explore this, when Billy got a flat out no. Which is like, I think that shows the progress. And I'm really proud of ATG and Rebecca Frecknell and their team for being like, let's explore this. Let's see where this can go. And I think we've discovered something really beautiful.
And the other thing I love about this production is that every person who comes in gets to explore their own version of these characters. That's not that common in a long running, sort of machine of theater. It's that, it's very revolutionary, I think, in that, like, it's a completely different show with whoever comes on.
Yeah.
And what's interesting too is that, like, when a cover goes on, they have their own show.
Yeah.
So we all adjust, like we all respond. Not adjust, but we all respond as actors should. Right? It's the give and take, it's the being in the moment and responding to what's in front of you.
Right.
Not being sort of set and rigid. And I think the spirit of that in this production is quite beautiful.
Yeah, we haven't been made to be like any of the previous Sallys or MCs before us. And I think that is beautiful, especially being a Black artist. I always have felt like I've had to mold myself into whatever they wanted me to be. And then over the past couple of years, I've gotten to recreate things and reimagining things in the way I feel as an artist to be. And they have nurtured that. And I think that's been the difference. I think to not have those restraints on you where you can do your art without resistance is incredible.
Is Sally a more emotionally demanding role than Miss Adelaide? Which you or indeed, or them going into the Big Brother house? I suppose that's the other question.
That was emotional as well. I cried so much in the Big Brother house. I was like, why am I crying so much? But I do feel like it is emotionally taxing. But I also feel like it's not far from Effie either. It's just two different characters on two different ends of the stardom space. Like someone's at the end, someone's at the beginning, So it's nice to be able to stretch all your muscles in that way, to use every trick in your bag, dance, like comedy, the dramatic parts, the storytelling, the love that you falling in love with someone on stage and breaking up on stage. We don't always get the opportunity to do all those things in one show. So that's been really fantastic.
Right.
To stretch your muscles.
And it's your first time back on stage for 8 years, is that right, Billy? Or first major stage role?
Yeah, I did a short stint in Chelly's Last Jam for Encores last year. That was like a 2-week run. But outside of that, I haven't been on stage since Shuffle Along in 2016.
Yeah, and how's it been going back?
Physically, I'm not as young as I used to be. And it's my body has to get used to being back to that 8 show a week schedule.
It's athletic.
It's an athlete.
You're an athlete.
And I'm on a marathon, and I'm, my body is just slowly but surely finding its way.
Waking its way up, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
Well, I came from Panto. I was doing 12 shows a week.
Of course
so then when I went to
you were,
7, I was like, well, hallelujah, this is a break.